Good morning. My name is Camille. I'm going to interview you for the World Trade Center Oral History Project. First, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me today. The purpose of this interview is to give you an opportunity to give your personal perspective and story of the World Trade Center disaster and your involvement with the rescue and recovery efforts that followed. By sharing your story, you will help us capture this historic event in a unique and personal way. We believe these oral histories we gather will be invaluable to educators, researchers, and the public. As you recount your story, Tim, please share as many details as possible. I know some memories may be difficult to talk about, so I want to thank you for being willing to share your story. Okay, so as we begin, can you please state and spell your first name?
Tim, T-I-M,
Okay.
or Timothy.
Okay. Do you rather Tim?
Yeah, everyone calls me Tim.
Okay. Can I have a starting time, please?
10:50 a.m.
Okay. All right, Tim. So this is a follow-up interview. We did an interview with you around 10 years ago. So just if someone's seeing this interview for the first time, I'd like to get a little bit background on you. So if you want to just talk to me a little bit about how you grew up, your early life, maybe becoming a police officer, things like that.
Okay. I grew up in. I don't know. How do you want me to just right where I grew up?
Yeah.
Okay. I have grew up two parents, mom and dad, both from Ireland, and two brothers, older brothers, two older sisters. Half my life I grew up in Jamaica, in Queens, and then we moved out when I was in grade school to outer part of Queens, Floral Park, Queens. I went to high school, Holy Cross High School, and went to St. John's. I graduated from there. When I was in college there, I joined the Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard. I was a member of there while I was in college, and then 2 years later, I ended up on the police department. I was in the academy. I graduated college.
Wonderful.
Right.
So what was your major in college?
Education.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what made you want to become a police officer?
I guess well, I joined the Coast Guard to help save people, and that meant that feeling went on to the police, and plus I needed a job. To pay the bills.
Yeah. Yes, to pay the bills.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to help people.
Yes.
So how long were you in the Coast Guard?
Well, I did, well, going back in the Coast Guard, I was in boot camp, and I did well physically there, and then I had my station 1 week in a month out at Station Shinnecock in Hampton Bays.
Okay.
And then when I graduated college, I ended up going into the police academy downtown, and for 6 months, and then became a police officer. It was nice. I should have brought that picture into you. I had a picture. When I graduated the academy, I got the fitness award, and I got a picture with my mom and dad, and in Madison Square Garden with Mayor Dinkins and the chief. I guess it was Chief Brown. It's a pretty interesting picture, and my mother was very happy. My mother said, "Oh, make sure you tell him I'm sorry about his mother. His mother just passed away." Oh. She said that, so it's a typical mom, yeah. And then they assigned me. I started in the South Bronx in the 4-1 precinct, the old 4-1. In uniform, and then do you want me to keep going, or
sure, anything?
I don't know what else. Okay. At the same time, I was 1 week in a month. I was going out to do search and rescue at the station Shinnecock in the Hampton Bays Coast Guard.
So it all happened simultaneously. You were in the
it's a reserves, and regular police.
Yeah.
You know.
So you kept busy.
Yes,
Yes.
and so lived in apartments at the time while working in uniform, and and then um, as my career went on, I had two careers and continued on that path.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it was around worked usually worked 4 to 12 evenings
Mm-hmm.
there, and as tried to sign up for um, plain clothes there. It was very hard to get the position there, so I went out and I ended up getting a citywide unit, plain clothes unit for almost 3 years, and then I worked the gangs and I
Wow.
moved around a lot. And then they said the only way you're going to get your gold shield is if you go to narcotics. And
Yeah.
that's why I went the investigator route. You could either go investigator or undercover. I went the investigator route.
That's great.
And I ended up getting my gold shield after 18 months in Manhattan. And then they moved me I ended up transferring to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I was in narcotics in Brooklyn.
Okay. And that's where you were when 9/11 happened.
Yes.
correct?
Oh, well, at that time, I wasn't at the office there. I ended up in a training week. My assignment was 26 Federal Plaza at the FBI. I was just doing a training class for the whole week with a lead agent, and the class was interrogation of subjects. That was from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And it was day hours.
Okay.
It was kind of exciting because I usually get out of the bad neighborhood, and Manhattan's very nice down there.
Yeah.
Nice lattes and just relax. And, it was well, the first day was easy, not the second day.
Yeah. Understood. Can we just pause for a moment? Okay, so you were at this training.
Yeah, it was a training that set up I set up babysitters that day. We had two sons at the time. I was married, two sons, and set somebody up for the week because my wife is a teacher. She works during the day.
Yeah.
So we had that kind of setup. I was working evenings and she worked days, so we flip flop. But so I was able to connect with the babysitters. So have that nice day, take the Long Island Railroad in and then go home, normal hours kind of thing. And so Monday was fine. Actually, it was kind of interesting. Tuesday, I almost didn't get in there because the guy on the looked at my pass. He says, "Oh, your police pass is expired for the Long Island Railroad."
Oh.
So I said, "Look, the office didn't give us the pass yet."
Oh my
So I
goodness.
almost didn't I couldn't get in there. They're very, sometimes they're strict, depends on who. So I got in there. The class was it was a good class. It was led by this agent Furman. It's it was way up there, Federal Plaza. I don't know what floor that was on. About within the first hour, there was an announcement: classes canceled. A plane had hit the World Trade Center. We don't know what you're gonna do there. Guys were calling up their phones, and I had my stuff. I had all my gear with me. I mean, I was in plain clothes. I was in a suit,
Right.
a business suit, but I just went down there, on my own. I think one guy stayed with me, but I was at the class by myself, so it was mostly bosses that were there. So I guess they go back, and so I knew what I had to do. I go down there, and it's kind of like interesting. I had a great master chief in the Coast Guard. He's like, what are you doing? Just get down there and do something. You know, like
Yeah.
he told me, like it was like almost like a voice, like your inner voice. This guy, Master Perlo, and just went down there. And what we do in the Coast Guard, get down there and do something. And that's what I did. And I remember I met up with this. They had it was all smoky. I ran down there. I was, I was a runner, so I was in shape. And I remember I had my gun with me and and people were looking at me. I guess, and I was just going down there. I had my shield out, and I met this uniform, and the uniform said, "Oh, all your guys are inside the plaza." So I went up the long stairs, if you know where that is, and it's inside plaza. Back then, it was two buildings and this big iron globe in the middle. Well, I went there. It was showering debris and hard debris and soft debris. And later on, I realized the soft debris was body and body parts. And then as I'm climbing, I was like actually hovering along the building line where the wall was protecting my face because all the glass was smashing. So and then it was a beautiful sunny foundation, the sun, and all of a sudden there's this big dark shadow that covered the whole plaza area, and I realized and then it hit the building. That was the second plane. And then it was an explosion, and then something came down, and I thought it was glass, and I covered my face through the corner of the building, and I realized that was the part of the plane that smashed right down next. And I remember I met this other detective who I knew from Manhattan Narcotics, and I was talking to him. He's like, "Don't bother." I said, "Oh, let me grab this guy," because all I could see was a ring, a gold ring and blackness, black body and eyes looking at me. I went to go and he's like, no, the guy's dead, leave him, and stuff is falling down at the same time. And he had a helmet on. I said, you have any helmets left? No. So as we were talking, we were just yelling at people to stay in the building or whatever, not stay in the buildings, but just, stay undercover. And this team comes up with 5 guys. They had a lot of equipment. They had bags and bags. So I went and I grabbed 2 bags. I knew the lead guy there. I used to work in a unit with him, Lieutenant Hollyfield, and I connected with him. I said, look, I'm carrying some bags. I'm going with you guys. And he's like, oh, you don't have a helmet? You don't have protection? I grabbed the table, one of those little tiny little metal coffee tables they use. And I use it like as an umbrella. We ran across the grounds to the oldest hit, the first building hit. That was the north. And we went in there, and I kind of like gained some confidence with these guys because the issue just sticks with the issue. But I was I just was like, let's do it, man. And then as we got into the plaza, it was pretty much nobody knew really what was doing. They were just still planning stuff, and so I think it was stairwell A or one of the stairwells. I just followed through with the team, and as we're going down, guys were coming down from the tower. I was talking to them, and like I was talking, like if I worked in a bar, hey, how you doing? I was just greeting people while we're going up. Hang in there, like we're at the marathon. It's going to be okay. Just keep going forward. Talk to the person in front of you. Talk to the person behind you. Say hello. Just stick together. And they were going out while we were climbing. I guess one of the bosses had an order to just go climbing. As we're going up the stairwell, it was just basic. It started getting quiet, and there was no really a lot of people up there. As we're looking at the floors, we would stop every 5 floors. And I think they had radios. I didn't have radios, so they we did one floor search where we performed some sort of CPR with I guess he was a fireman, and then there was another recovery search where we were trying to find we found his air pack equipment, and then as we get into the teens, there was they were exhausted. Guys just sitting, with their equipment, mostly farming, and they were just sitting and resting, and it was very quiet. There was no windows, so you can't see what was going on outside.
Yeah.
And all there was a smell of diesel fuel. It wasn't flames, it wasn't smoke. And then as we're getting up there, we grabbed some water. There was machines that were, had water or whatever. And I had this suit on, and I remember I'm talking to my boss, and he goes, I said, he's like, and Timmy, take that effing tie off. I said, well, it's a Nicole Miller tie. It's my wife's anniversary. I was trying to make jokes. I know it's bad, but I was making jokes during this whole catastrophe
Yeah.
because, I was, back years ago, I think I was also involved in Flight 800 in my that was my station out at, I forgot to tell you that Flight 800, that plane crashed. I spent probably close to 150 days out there
Wow.
doing rescue and stuff like that. We were like the second and third boat on scene,
Wow.
doing searches there. So I wasn't like I didn't know what I was doing, but being calm and trying to help each other and help out was, it still sticks in me. And as we're getting up to the around the 20s, we're just staying, trying to stay organized, and there was, just, I'm just following those. We got to one floor where we stopped, and then something happened where we got into the late 20s. Something happened where we were resting. So we were working on a guy, and they put the Scott, whatever they put, gave him oxygen and stuff like that, and holding the guy's hand, it's gonna be all right. And then there was some sort of an explosion, like a long-term explosion, and it was the stairwell. We were on the floor, and the stairwell, actually, the metal doors were held open by those fire hoses. And someone's one of the foremen, flash point or some sort of code, meaning like there was a huge. So instead of just standing there, I unhooked the thing, and I held the metal door closed while the explosion was coming up the stairwell, and that was the other tower coming down while we're in there. And I don't know why I did that. I just did that out of instinct. And this guy, Lieutenant, for the fire department, he was good, man. He had a lot of tattoos. I don't know what his name was, but it was good. It was good, And we talked for a little bit, and then we just kept going. That's the thing. Our team, we just kept moving and helping, not stopping, not hanging around. I just, then there was, we're in the stairwell. There was a guy doing weird stuff. One of the fire guys was saying, "Oh, this guy needs to be checked out," and he wasn't listening. Guys were telling him to leave. His explanation was he was a contractor of a contractor, and he was just something that someone needed to talk to, and not right there because we were moving. So we had to take him with us. The boss had a call on the radio. Everyone's got to come down and reassess. I didn't hear all this. I just held on to the guy. Ended up being, intelligence, and talking to that guy, and whatever happened, wherever happened, I don't know. I know that as we're descending, we're going down the stairwell, same stairwell. We got to I was telling everybody evacuate on the floors.
Yeah.
Just come with us, man. And some listened, some didn't.
Yeah.
After a while, still the smell of diesel, fuel coming down, and as we got to the lobby, the lieutenant talked to the chief. He was Chief Hale. He was the chief of the patrol or something like that. He was there, big tall guy, and we just gave the information, and they're trying to reassess. And as we're talking, I walk out the wrong way into the plaza again, and walk through this flaming entrance. No, Timmy, the other way, and ended up it was showering again, still, hard debris and soft debris. And later on, that soft debris I realized was body parts. And as we're coming back in, we're still in the lobby. We go out this entrance out to Vesey, and I just couldn't believe, I didn't know that the other tower had came down. And then as we're standing there, right at the entrance, there was an explosion about a third of the way up. And I look up, and it was just rolling down like a waterfall, and it wasn't water, it was hard debris. Everybody started running up north on Greenwich. I think it was Greenwich. Up the row, there was a big long row of fire trucks. We got to the first block, the second block, and like I said, I was over there yesterday, right on the corner of Murray and Greenwich, and that's where I went under, followed what everyone else was doing, going under the trucks, and ended up getting buried like the ocean of sea and ash, just flowing right behind us, like being at the ocean, like being at the beach, and except this was debris. And that was the tower coming down. I was under the truck. I pounced on the guy and secured him. And then as it's coming in, everything went dark and silent. Like it was under like 4 or 5 feet of ash and debris, and all of a sudden it was like for a minute was nothing. As I'm coming out, I remember somebody was trying to give me an oxygen mask to breathe, and I was using my armpit, using my armpit to breathe inside my shirt. That was the only oxygen thing I had. I didn't know how to, actually, he was giving me to share it with me, but I didn't know how it worked. Like, it was beeping, and it was actually, it was like, I didn't know what I was doing, so I never had that training before. And but we agreed with the guy, and then I found the lieutenant, and it was like he was having a heart attack, and I got him out of the to St. John's. There was a triage set up, and I dropped him off. He ended up getting medevaced to Staten Island Hospital, and then I met the chief again. He said, "Oh my God, you still got the guy, And I said, "Well, I don't want to lose a prisoner. I'll get hit with 20 days. I was worried about losing days. So that's what you do. You don't worry about your life. You worry about getting in trouble, And I was just trying to be safe, And I went with him and a bunch of FBI guys and other guys from Intel. First, we went to Stuyvesant High School. We tried to talk to the guy. I was just basically, securing him. The lieutenant said, "Don't lose that guy," and I didn't. Mm-hmm. So we transferred from there to the temporary headquarters was set up at the 13th precinct. We got to the 13th precinct. Intel was there. There was she was actually pretty good. This Lieutenant Martin, and met with her, and the mayor was there, Mayor Giuliani. He actually came behind his desk and he shook my hand. I was all gray soot like a snowman, with all stuff all over me, and I dropped the guy off with the Intel unit. They took care of that, and I was trying to tell what was going on down there. The police commissioner, he was busy on the phone with all kinds of stuff. I was trying to give them, but I didn't know that the towers had come down. Right. So I didn't really I don't know if you you can tell if you go into shock. I just didn't know. And I just was really upset and annoyed because no one was really listening to me. And I said, and then this guy, I was on the one of the clubs in the police department. He was assigned to the police academy, so he actually gave me. I was able to uh, I was able to clean up a little bit. I got rid of the clothes that were a little dirty and stuff on them. All kinds of stuff like whatever was body parts or whatever, and gray stuff. And I was able to take a shower, but they gave me these. I had these. He was a little smaller than me, so he had like these police academy shorts. He was an instructor in the academy, really tight, and they I guess you couldn't really take me seriously. Like, who's this guy? I had like a police academy instructor, like I had clean clothes on, and but I didn't have shoes. I didn't have sneakers. I had to go look around. So I had my gun, I had a belt, I had my gun, and the lieutenant says, just give me your gun, I had my holster and everything, and I guess they were afraid, like, I don't know, I wasn't like 100%, but I had to get sneakers,
Yeah.
my feet were killing me, and
Right, of course.
so I go to the sneaker store. It was the only one open, and he made me pay for the sneakers. He charged you like $60 for a pair of jocks. They're like from Woolworths. I know it's kind of silly, but
That's wild,
I got the sneakers, and I remember he had the lieutenant. She had a detective just follow me around. I had my shield. I had these like really tight shorts and tight shirt, and I was really upset. I said, you know what? I'm going to go across the street. I went across the street to Cabrini Hospital. I had a cut on my head. I had, everything was hurting, but I was so pumped, like I was, like I still, and I remember Chief Yell said, just go take care of yourself. So I'll go down with you. I said, nope, just stay here and see what they want, or you can do stuff here, just relax and take it easy. I'm like, relax? I can't relax, and I went to the ER there. They had x-rays, and I got treated there for several hours, and I came back, and it was nighttime where they ended up I was ended up getting a ride because I took the train. So I didn't have a car. They ended up giving me a ride like around 12 or 1 o'clock that night. I remember trying to call a couple people, and you couldn't call, but people were there was really no help, really. I think and you think you want to go back and do more, and but I followed advice. I listened to the doctors the next day. I went. The nice thing about it was I told my command they actually sent a uniform to my house, a Nassau County uniform. Yeah, your lieutenant, your ICO was just checking on you, and the next day, that morning, came by this officer from Nassau County was that's what I felt. I was telling this guy the other day, and then I went to see the district surgeon the next day, and they he gave me whatever paperwork I had to, and I went to certain doctors, and I followed that through. I would stay out sick for 30 days, but I don't know if other people, but I felt very, very guilty. Like I wanted to do more. I didn't do enough, or I didn't feel like I did enough, and so guys in the office were like, "What are you doing back?" And I don't know, and I ended up working, different hours, different tours. Either I was either down at the ground zero, just doing escorts. People that lived there or worked there, they needed to get into the zone. You walk them in, you walk them out, or you got sent to the dump. And the dump, with my team, I did it a little bit differently than other people because it was very sacred to me. I didn't do it quick. I was very slow, methodical. Um, Anytime I found a bone or if I found an identification, I said that's a body right there. Or if I found something like a uniform shirt, with a number on it, that's a body. I took it very seriously. Like
Yeah.
I would shovel something and I would go through it, and my coworkers was like, "What are you doing?" I said, this is sacred ground. I don't know, like this is meaningful."
Yes.
They were started when an agent said, "Oh, they're just a bunch of chicken bones and stuff like that." I said, no, they're not. I was here. I said, "This is." So they were so overwhelming undermanned that they didn't really just boom throw the ID tag in here in this big. And so I ended up doing that for several months. I'm not sure the exact number, but I was there, and then they had us right back working. But at the same time, I was going to my reserve station once 1 week in a month, and they were we're a very close unit there, and I shared a lot. What happened, what I was involved with, and what I did, and over again sharing it. And there was some person that talked to me there, but then um, they they made the announcement on news that all hands. Our unit came down. Our whole unit went active duty. I had to come back, and as I came back, police, I had to make the announcement, and you hand in these forms, and so at the time, financially, we were in great. We had a new house,
Yeah.
not a fancy house, but a new house, and I took the two pays. The police pay, and you go away on active duty. And
Right.
while on active duty, I reunited with the team that I was with. The lieutenant wrote a recognition thing on it, so I had to come home. That was kind of messy. You had to change uniform, and I had to get my shield from property, because when you go away on active duty, you have to hand in all your property, your guns, your
Okay.
shield, and everything. You go on active duty, so I had to come
Okay.
off of active duty. I got the orders, and I came back, and they had the thing down at the financial center when it was. So it's going back to the zone, and then the Brook, that's the picture I showed you. And it was nice to be recognized.
Yeah,
It's nice
of
that someone
course.
like cares, and like I was sharing with you with my CO. He did a thing with the shields, and I was in the American Legion. They gave a bunch of things. It was nice to be recognized. It's always nice to say, "Hey, good job," kind of thing,
Of
But
course.
still on active duty, and our daughter was born. Or she's in college now. She's going to be a senior. While I was on active duty, and I was able to come home for that for a couple months, and then something happened. These like tremors. Was in. I guess I don't know. Ever since, like, yeah, I was doing this humming noise like a plane sounding over, and you were humming, and then I ended up having episodes while just doing family stuff, and ended up having a worse one at night. Emergency service, not emergency, EMTs from the town came. We were I was on leave for a day. I ended up going to the hospital,
Okay.
and ended up getting admitted, and they did a whole bunch of tests on me. I ended up having neurological stuff going on, and they put me on convalescent leave while I was in Coast Guard for over a year. They said I had to retire. They did a whole bunch of testing, and when they forced me into retirement, I lost I was gonna, I had motivation to become a chief and
Mm-hmm.
do a whole bunch of stuff in the Coast Guard, but I had to cut that career short. And then the next day, when I got back to police, ended up they put my paperwork in there for you no longer can do law enforcement, and it's just the injuries from the job,
Yeah.
and both because of 9/11, and
So when was
um,
that, Tim?
that was '05. I retired from Coast Guard, and then '06. That's how long it took. '06, I retired from the police,
Okay.
and um, it was just we don't need you anymore, basically. So
How did that make you feel at the time?
yeah, pretty bad. It was kind of devastating, but
Yeah.
it was part of it's part of my life.
Yeah.
With the boys we had two sons at the time. Thank God my wife works full time, so
Yeah.
and we just put all our money into the kids, schoolings and we just have that's what we did.
Yeah.
At the time I was basically at home. I remember the job has to really check on people while you're out sick, and
Mm-hmm.
she came and we were really doing an exercise walk for
Mm-hmm.
myself with all the kids, the stroller. So I was really very blessed to have
Yes.
a family. I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
Um, and they're we have a close family. The kids, well, they're adults,
Yeah.
you know, and but we stay together through all this, and I keep a journal,
That's good.
um, whether it's a medical journal, just a basic everyday journal, what's going on with my life, and what I'm, some sort of little goals that help
That's
me, but nothing. And
that's
of
great.
course, I'm on certain medicines
Mm-hmm.
that help my medical stuff.
Yeah.
Around 2009, I had well, I was getting medications from the VA,
Okay.
but the medications I ended up having another seizure because they weren't. Well, they weren't. They were. There's brand and then there's generic,
Right.
right? So they were giving they would give me generic
Mm-hmm.
forms of medication, which the neurologist says it's like taking no medications. So
Okay.
ended up having had to redo that
Okay.
and getting back on that, and then ended up in the hospital another two weeks and a lot of different tests. I had this scare about 2009 where uh, it was it was my eyes
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting chorioretinitis, which
Okay.
is like birdshot, and it's not in the family. I don't know what it's from, but
I'm sorry. Which is like what?
chorioretinitis.
Mm-hmm.
It's another word, with the retinas. It's inflammation of the retinas,
Okay.
and we don't know what it's from really. They said it's from the family. Of course, family that that
Okay.
doesn't occur. No one,
Mm.
yeah. So um, I go see that, but then there's medicine that gives you high blood pressure.
Mm.
It's like so you just play around with all
Yeah.
these
So
different
you try to fix
medications.
one thing, right?
Well, yeah, I just listen to what the
Yeah.
doctors tell me to do,
Good.
right?
Good.
In the beginning, I was taking for the PTSD. I was taking medications for that, and they
Mm-hmm.
were making me very sleepy.
Okay.
So we had to address that, and in the beginning, I had a neuropsychometrist, neuropsychiatrist, neuropsychologist. I had like six different doctors at LAJ, and so what occurred was I went to the doctor. I said, look, I said these medicines make me sleepy,
Yeah.
and my wife and I we came to a team to just cry it out. instead of taking these medicines and being loopy all the time.
Mhm.
So I still take the seizure medications. Everything's good with that.
Okay.
I take the blood pressure medicines, and then I take the eye medicines.
Okay.
I take vitamins, and still to this day, I like doing gardening.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and getting dirty, and as far as doing stuff like that, I volunteer.
I love that. What do you garden?
We'll put tomato plants in,
Yeah.
and ground cover, and we used to have a dog. The dog died,
Okay.
so we had him. He was very helpful for me.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of walking.
That's great. What
But
kind of dog?
it was a North Shore
Yeah.
rescue dog.
Nice.
It was like everything. And
So how did he help you? You said he was helpful.
he was. He kept me. He he just said I want to start crying, but he was very helpful in, I guess, in protecting me. Knew when there was something wrong, and knew if when I got sick, he like stayed by my side, and you know, living a different life, trying to, uh, uh, you know, try to be available and helpful. The kids were very good, in the beginning I was doing some stuff with the church. They
Mhm.
needed people to do catechism, coaching. Coaching
Yeah.
was really nice. Coaching basketball, one of my sons, and
Oh, I love
doing it
that.
with another one. There's it was like, and it's funny how you get that survivor thing, because you run into people
Yeah.
that had like parents that
Mhm.
died in the North Tower. Like I was in the North Tower, this guy died. I'm like, why does that happen? And the son, I'm teaching him how to play defense, and the son, the father, always called me coach, and he's he's not gonna say his name, but he was a commentator or whatever, a sports guy,
Mhm.
and he was just so nice,
Yeah.
and here the father dies, passed away in where I was at, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, like
So you
like
had
a
that
catch 22, like
connection.
it's like
Yeah.
connection, and religion was very helpful to for me to teach it, and just to help the kids, and I have to try and get back into drawing, because I'm not doing, because all the kids are gone now. They're done
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. So you taught religion.
yeah, for
Till what
about
age?
I guess Emma was till her 7th grade, 8th grade.
That's so
So it was
nice.
helpful to me, and I have faith,
Yeah.
but I have to work at this every day,
Yeah.
whether it's the family, whether it's on myself,
Yeah.
practice my inner voice. I guess it sounds weird, but it's you know
It's a good thing.
my buddy says you can't unring a bell.
Well,
A mouth opens
that's
up.
right.
I can't take it back.
It's true, and it was
And the kids,
a
you
loud
tell
bell.
them, 2 times is too many times telling them something.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't listen. So, I, and there's not one day that goes by where I think about it. I try not to dwell on it, but,
Yeah.
that's why I go talk to people. It's important for me to, I have to practice listening more. I'm trying to do it, every day. And then, I can't give up life.
Yeah.
Life is precious. I
Absolutely.
have a lot of good people in my life, and my wife, she's a partner, and
Yeah. What's your wife's name?
Erin.
Erin.
Yeah. So
Tell me about how Erin supports you with everything.
you're gonna make me cry. I do the laundry. No, listen, I don't know. I don't want to. Just we support each other. I think.
Yeah.
It's like I have to pay back what I get, meaning
Mhm.
not like it's almost like, I'm supposed to do this stuff,
Mhm.
not just being. It's not being a husband, but being friends.
Yeah.
Confidants. I guess being, it's like it's blood. I remember that day. Yeah, everyone was calling their wives, and the phone wasn't working, and I tried to call, but she's teaching,
Right.
and they didn't know anything what had happened. She's teaching these little kids,
Right.
and then we usually talk to each other on lunch, but I was, I was just busy. I remember going to the hospital, and my blood pressure was way, way up because I was so like, like pumped up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and um, but like I have to constantly try to give back what was freely
Yeah.
given to me.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is helpful. Like
Yeah.
I think I answered you, right?
Yeah.
I think so. And
So
it has to be. It doesn't end like
yeah.
I have to remember what I have to do today.
Mhm.
And but this sitting here talking about the horror, it's
Yeah.
I've gone over it a lot of times.
Yeah.
So getting back to, I remember getting help. Um, the Shields organization for the cops.
Mhm.
Somebody connected with me, and they ended up the Shield Foundation set up some sort of therapy program, and this
Mhm.
doctor was very helpful. And then it was like it wasn't where I was gonna hurt myself or do something bad. It was just I just needed to edge out some stuff and talk, and
Yeah.
it worked out fine. But you know, I still go and talk to someone once a week.
That's very good.
From you guys, it's very
That's very
helpful.
good. I'm glad that's helpful.
Yeah. Other than that portion, um, no one really keeps in I keep in contact with a couple of good gentlemen that I didn't really work with, but
Yeah.
one was very helpful, and I have a brother that's retired from the police. He was
Okay.
always been very helpful to me. Well, I have two brothers, but the one brother was both older.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's nice.
yeah. So we were at the memorial run yesterday. We
Yesterday.
walked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was nice, and my wife and I and him and his son.
Yeah.
Very,
What's the
very.
name of that memorial run?
It's called it's really it's the NYPD Memorial Run that's done by that's was founded by a gentleman named Tom Biggers, and he has really another friend
Mhm.
like an older brother has really helped look at things differently,
Yeah.
and helped a lot of families, and it's a basic memorial for officers that were killed in the line of duty.
Yeah.
And there's a police memorial wall set up downtown,
Mhm.
across behind the financial center
Mhm.
on the marina there, and they have they had it yesterday,
Yeah.
and I just walked. Last year I volunteered, but this year was really special. I was able to. My wife came and we walked together,
That's nice.
and it was just really life becomes more precious every day.
Yes.
Especially when you're not alone,
Yes.
and really, I can be alone, but I know that I'm not alone.
I'm glad.
And I know that visiting that area,
Mhm.
I'm not. It's because when you're down there, you're in a like it's still they made it look really nice, like it's beautiful, but to me in my mind it's still a battleground.
Yeah.
Like I know where this was, I know where that was, I know where the St. John's triage was, but I didn't go and be annoying to my brother and my nephew. Just like, I had to like kind of like you kind of drift, and you're like you have to breathe, and it's just so powerful. Like I guess I also I did probably overdid last week volunteering. I did the horse out on Monday, and I did Tuesday's Children. That's another great foundation. It's very helpful to try to give back. Sometimes it's difficult because I connect with these people that lost loved ones.
Yes.
So I try to take a break, and they had a golf outing, for the organization. I try not to get as you can see, I emotionally, it's like, I wish I did more or whatever. And it's hard, it's different, I kind of like got to blow it off a little bit, but somebody was very helpful last week. It's like, oh, thank you so much. You helped me so much from last year doing the thing. And I'm like, what did I do? I don't even know what I did, but just try to be positive and help others. It's just like on the stairwell, the tower A, in the stairwell A. Hey, it's going to be okay, and no, it wasn't be okay. But people got out, whatever we did. One difficult moment was I going back to that thing, I remind me, there was this commissioner, he was coming up. I said, hey, everyone's getting out, we're leaving, he's like, I'm not leaving my men. And that was this fire commissioner chief. And he went up, and that's it, man, and like, all right, and, our team got out of there, but everyone went their different directions, I'm not in control. I have to be in control myself.
That's right.
So like I know that I didn't know what I was going to say today, and but I know that I have to continue to try to live the best life I can.
Yes. Absolutely. Take a quick break.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Tim, tell me a little bit more about Tuesday's Children.
From what I know, well, I'll tell you about myself. I got involved with it. How did I get involved with it? Just by one of these forums I went to. I said, oh, that looks pretty good. And then I kind of turned away from it because how am I going to mentor someone that, I was a personal victim and they lost somebody? Why not me? And I said, maybe that's not a good idea.
So for people who don't know about the organization.
Okay, it's first it started off, Tuesday Children was founded by, I'm not sure who it was founded to, but it was an organization that was developed after 9/11, the 9/11 attacks, helped victims, families, that kind of thing, helped them, whether it was financially, mentally, physical, whatever. I'm not really sure the exact. You have to talk to the founders. For my personal thing was, I want to try and do something after years after being retired and do something volunteer work. So one I did was helping out with some golf. I ended up just did one foundation where I drove someone around in a cart. Another one putting chairs up and breaking chairs down.
For
at the end of the day,
events.
yes, helping out with giving shirts out, and then this one thing. There was what was the other one? The foundation where they have a golf outing. People contribute money and just help out that way.
That's great.
Put a shirt on and just be helpful.
Yeah.
Just like the yesterday, helping out with the different families that have a person that was doing what I did, and they died in the line of duty,
Yeah.
trying to help the families out. And yes, and
So this walk run.
yes,
You
that
went
was
with your,
yesterday.
yeah, you
That
went
was
with
for
your
the
wife.
police. Yeah, that was for the police.
Mhm.
And a couple of days ago was a golf by the house out east,
Mhm.
and it was Tuesday's Children,
Mhm.
and it was raised money. And what I did was they assigned me to help the golf pro, and this guy was very good, and he gives information on one of the holes and coaching, and we shared some experiences together,
That's great.
and just just the thing about helping others, it helps yourself.
Yes.
That's what I think. And then what was the other one? The uh, the Warriors Ranch.
Yeah.
I
Tell me
started
about
that.
that.
Okay, so I started trying to get involved with that because when I was younger, my father was born on a farm. I made that something inside me.
Mhm.
And when the kids were really little, they used to have, um, I guess, equestrian places near the house.
Mhm.
And I loved horses.
Yeah.
Always loved horses, being around them, animals. And so a friend of mine said, "Oh, why don't you try and do this? This would be really helpful." And it was. It's called Warriors Ranch. Based out in Calverton. Um, Juliet Hackett is the one I connected with.
Mhm.
Very, very helpful, very kind. Um, Another lady, Eileen. I met Eileen out there, and they were like, "Just come on aboard." Well, and it was just a basic retreat.
Mhm.
These rescue horses that have gone through difficulties,
Mhm.
and they really just, it's very soothing and helpful. Just
So what do
being
you do
kind.
while there?
You do, basic, cleaning the hoofs of the horse, picking up cleaning the stalls, stuff
Mhm.
like that. Basic, just maintenance, and not maintenance. Handyman. I'm not
Mhm.
handy.
Yeah.
But just cleaning up, brushing down the horse.
Nice.
They had a nice thing. I was just being a helping hand the other day. What they do is they help either units or guys from different the VA
Mhm.
come in, and you'd have to ask them what they do. But I'll try and connect people here with the
Yeah.
right people to talk to. Would be really great. They've helped out certain agencies in the past,
Mhm.
which they're in just in the start of that.
Yeah.
For me, I'd share stories with certain like trainers or guys, and they were in battle and combat, and now they're a cowboy. Now I don't want to become a cowboy,
Mhm.
but I just like being in the background, sharing experiences and trying to learn something new. And the horse really is very helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but
Yeah.
just they can tell they can tell if I'm down, or if I'm sad, or if I'm nervous. They can sense fear, and that's how the
Yes.
training goes with I think the people been in contact with that were very helpful. Eileen Shanahan, and if I may say their name, and
Sure.
Juliet Hackett. This one guy, a bunch of guys, really great. This guy Tim, very much helpful. Was another member of the service that
Mhm.
just very helpful and got me involved. And
Yeah.
and I just keep anytime they need, if there's things come up and
Mhm.
I'm available and they're got a spot, I try and get out
That's
there.
great. So how often do you get to go?
I try to do it maybe, I mean, once a month, if not
Nice.
that. Um,
So when you're there, are there many
there's
people
others,
there?
yes. There's
Other responders?
military.
Okay.
They have specials where a unit will come in.
Mhm.
Um, Guys that have force. I have no horse experience
Mhm.
except feeding carrot to them when the kids were little, but that
Amazing.
was under supervision.
Yeah.
But I think it's really helped. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when our dog died. It was very helpful, you
Yeah.
know.
It sounds like you have a connection to animals.
I don't know, maybe, you know.
You've said twice that being with the animals is helpful for you about the dog and about the
Yeah,
horses.
yeah. I mean, we haven't had the dog in a couple of years, so
Yeah.
you know, he died. But, you know,
Yeah.
it was you
What
know,
was your dog's name?
Chauncey.
Chauncey?
Yes, that was the name they gave him. So we didn't think that up. We
Yeah.
had him for many years. It was a big black dog. He used to do a lot of different tricks that I helped him with, and you know, fetching the ball and sticks. He would pick up a stick like 2 miles away from the house. He wouldn't let go of it, you know, and just throw it. He'd go get the stick, bring it back, you know.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just really funny, you know, a real character. And then, you know, and I, you know, he was just, you know, now we have a neighbor's dog
Mhm.
that they were buddies, you know,
Yeah.
and he comes over, like, the dog comes over and like looks for Chauncey still.
Oh.
So, you know, just, you know, it's a part of life, you know,
Yes,
where it
of
goes,
course.
you know.
Of course.
You know, and but I have, you know, I also have, you know, I have not just one brother. I have another brother
Mhm.
and two sisters.
Mhm. And
And
I thought I read in the other interview that you did that one of your brothers was also a police officer.
yes, I was telling
Yeah.
you,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, he was very helpful on the job, and but that day really, you know, my
Yeah.
instincts took over. Nobody was helpful except me and the small group
The
I was with.
immediate people you were with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So was
know.
your brother also down there?
Um, yeah, later on.
Later on.
No, he
Okay.
wasn't there
Yeah.
when I was there.
Okay.
He was in Queens.
Okay.
So, you know.
So just some follow-up
Yeah.
questions. Were you said you were there, how many months were you there?
I was back and forth. I was there that day, and then 30 days out sick,
Mm-hmm.
and then, or less than 30 days out sick, and then I was either there or at the dump
Right.
for several months afterwards, and then I was activated for Title 10
Okay.
orders,
Right.
and my station was, you could either I was you know, I was assigned a search and rescue law enforcement station, which was located on Sandy Hook,
Okay.
Coast Guard Station Sandy Hook, which is right on the Ambush Channel. And our mission was, or we're a small boat crew of four. They were great guys, friends for years, and still friends today. Our boat leader was Lee Heyman. He was he was like a geologist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another crew member, which was Brian. Brian McCarrick. He was from the fire department. But we were, and Vinny Irwan was from Suffolk County Sergeant out in Highway out
Okay.
east. He was we were the same crew,
Mm-hmm.
and our basic mission was, we had a multitask mission, but one task mission was to go out and patrol the intelligence. It was that after 9/11 we were going to get bombed again, or so the tankers would come in with fuel,
Mm-hmm.
and we would act as like kind of like babysitters
Okay.
and as a safety station, because they would come in and they would offload fuel, like Staten Island, that area around there.
Okay.
So our patrol was Hudson River, East River, up Manhattan.
Okay.
So I had exposure, you know, where I was
Right.
9/11 again.
Okay.
So it's like the water side of it, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
so that went on for several years, you know. I mean,
Several
yeah.
years.
Well, I ended up getting sick while I was on active duty.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
yeah. So after that, I was pretty much burnt out. I was
Right.
done.
Yeah.
But it was a good idea. They had they set up, it was a safety zones when things happened.
Mm-hmm.
They had us, plus they had other, they had other ships too,
Yeah.
and we worked hand in hand. There was one test where they unloaded bombs, Naval Weapons Station Earl, which was the next station over, which we set up safety zones to guard the location along with other agencies.
Yeah.
And we had transporting whatever dignitaries and different people for doing different things.
Wow. It's quite the story, Tim. You've been through a lot. So you mentioned before that your wife is your partner. You
Right.
used the word.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, she's a teacher in the next town over, probably several years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what does she teach?
She teaches second grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's a
So
good age.
very lucky. Yeah, we're 2 miles away from her job.
That's great.
Yeah. So
So you mentioned your children. Tell
Yeah.
me about your kids.
we have 3 kids. We have 2 sons and a daughter. One son is Tim. He's the oldest, and he has a job. He's working from home. Second is Patrick, and he's a middle. He's working a job 2 towns over. Both graduated colleges. And our third is Emma. She's going to be a senior,
Okay.
and she's finishing up a college in Providence.
Okay. So your kids were very young at the time.
Yeah, well, one wasn't even Emma wasn't even born.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you talk about 9/11 with your kids?
It's they know. I mean, it was almost like enough is enough. Like they couldn't hear it anymore. You know. So I was showing you that picture. They don't even want to. They were so little. I mean, I said I was worried coming here, and I wanted to get some feedback from my oldest. He's like, listen, you're gonna do this. Just go away. Like, I mean, when they're that old anymore, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear my voice. I don't know. Just thank God for mom.
Yeah.
Mom's rock.
Moms do rock. That's true.
If that makes, I don't know.
Yeah.
Answer that question. Be home.
So you've talked about it with them over the years.
We didn't have like sit down consultations or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my own help. But I have to practice. Even today, I have to practice more on listening and seeing what they need, and or what how they're living life.
Yeah.
I guess, and but they're doing okay. They're
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Right.
What do you it sounds like you spend a lot of time, doing some charity work, and you're, involved with this Warriors Ranch and things like that.
Right.
What do you feel most helpful about doing things like that?
Oh, I mean those things?
Yeah. What do you find most helpful?
I guess sometimes you kind of bond with someone or a certain person, or even just the I feel better when I come home, I guess, and able to talk with the people I love, my wife and the kids, and I think we live 2 lifetimes in 1 lifetime sometimes, then and now. And got to appreciate life. I think it's very important, but it's a day at a time. Right.
How do you think your experiences, with the 9/11 recovery efforts and everything, how do you think that impacted you as a person?
Well, like your last question, I wore a vest every day on patrol.
Okay.
And it was called Second Chance. So I really feel I have a second chance on life. This is very symbolic,
Yes.
you know, I was starting to rewrite or count. Like one of the doctors said, "Oh, you know, try it, you know." And I started getting into it, and I said, you know what, this is really not helpful. So I put it down. I put the pen down and just try to do other things, you know. And I'm kind of glad I did that, you know. When I'm ready, I'll go back to that.
Sure.
You know, that's what you guys teach me, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it doesn't overlap my day. Like the last time I was here, I think it was I was at the nutritional. I got done with the nutrition. I saw you. I got done with the nutrition, and I went and I walked for 3 miles trying to lose some weight because the weight is hard, you know. Eating differently, getting more rest. Um, it's so hard to because you want to kind of be helpful to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I want to try and look out for everybody, but sometimes I think you know, with faith and stuff, something inside me said I have to look out for myself first. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense.
So how do you look out for yourself?
I do the volunteer stuff when I can. I get and I really like when my wife and we get away. You know, we take we'll take them to school and then we stay over somewhere. We read together.
That's nice.
Right.
Where do you travel?
Just locally. We went on a great trip to recently to Nashville.
Oh, nice.
So we had it set up where it's just a road trip and see the country, you know, and it was it really filled me up. You know, we read together on the way down there. I like stopping off and not too much driving and taking a break. Some, backwoods place in Virginia, and we stayed in a caboose. You know, it was like a refurbished caboose. It was like awesome,
Cool.
and it wasn't expensive,
Yeah.
And then on the way back, we went to Nashville, which was like a party. It was what hit me. We went to the Johnny Cash museum and about the flag. I really, he talks about he does a talk about the flag and he did one of his last songs. I'm not like a big country, but just the gut and the
Johnny Cash.
yeah, and the museum was just amazing. It was just so.
So what does he say about the
He
flag?
says about crumpled and rag. I'd have to read it, but it's really, really moving, and how and about hanging the flag and on my walks, somebody I shouldn't really. I don't know if you want to scratch this later, but somebody hangs the flag upside down. It like kills me. And finally, like I said to a couple of people, and they finally turned the flag right side up, hanging off their house. And it was just so symbolic, the trip. It was just really, I'll get back to the subject. Lots of, about being a patriot and being patriotic. Nothing overboard where I'm hurting someone's feelings, but just loving country and caring and being kind. And as we were way back, we stayed at this place. It was refurbished. I think it was Fair Oaks. And sure enough, we connect. I found it on just, regular, I didn't hear from any. And what do they have there? Horses, pet horses. And the horses just came right up to me, and it was like and it was just a stayover, and one of the guys that ran the place, his father was a Staten Island cop. He showed me pictures, but just, road trips are healthy, just take your time on the road, and everybody's driving fast. You gotta, we gotta slow down and live our lives, properly, and take breaks, that's the thing, but I have to, trying to practice good eating habits and, you know, and exercise. It's, but being available, I think, like you said, you know, being available to my wife, you know, her job, and, you know, you know, health is health, and got to take care of doctor visits. I still go to the VA doctors, you guys, and my regular doctors. You know, you know, just, you know, keep trying and growing, and, you know, but, like, you know, it's just weird. Yesterday and today, you know, this stuff never leaves me. You know, it's, but they, you know, my siblings, my family, people, they don't understand what goes on, or what, you know, what I went through. No one will ever realize. No matter what, how many books you write or whatever, they don't understand what's in, you know, what happened. I mean, unless you were really, really there, like, you know, facing that, or actually, you know, passing away. You know, people have passed away. There are a lot of people, like I was, you know, yesterday was at, many times it's been brought up about, you know, our first responders have, you know, have passed and left this earth, and have been sick many, many years. And I think it's very important to live a clean, good life, healthy life, because, you know, you're never alone. You know, you're always going to touch someone's heart.
That's right.
And you know, to me, unless I fight for this life, you know, to be very, it would be very selfish to leave in a negative way. I want to leave helping people, just like that day. You didn't think about dying or even being sick. Just do the job. Stay focused. Just like, you know, on the boat, you know, when search and rescue, boom, you know, doing it. You know, the person next to me, in front of me, we're going to stay, you know, and we're going to get out of here. That day, I remember, and it just came out of nowhere. One of the bosses was like upset. They said, look, no matter what happened, we know what happened. We went in, we went up, we did our job, we came down, and we're alive. And we got to bring that back home, because we got to bring it home. You know, and that's where it counts. You know, where the rubber meets the road, that's the main thing. You know, and, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's, you know.
Wow. It sounds like, you know, one of my questions was, how do you feel like you take, you know, sometimes with health issues and such, it can feel out of your hands, right? You may have spoken about this a little bit, but I just want to ask, how do you feel like you take that control back when things feel a little out of your hands? As far as your health and things like that.
I'm not in control of my health unless I listen to the doctors. I listen to the pros. You guys are the pros, you know. And of course, I have to listen to my wife. A nice lady, yes. And I'm very blessed to have her by my side, and I know that, but I have to listen to my insides too. When something's wrong, I got to talk about it. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know,
that's okay.
I'll turn into mush. I'm gonna cry and everything.
That's okay.
You know, you know, my daughter, she's funny. You know, she's the youngest. You know, and like if we have like a difference in opinion with one of my sons, I'll ask them. You know, and then she'll write a note for me. You know, I'm like, oh God, okay. You know, like, oh, because sometimes I see something different than someone else sees it, and if you don't reach out, you know, and you know, have a discussion or some sort of thing, you know, it can be a positive and turn a negative into a positive, I guess,
So what do
right?
you mean your daughter writes a note?
Oh no, just that one time I saved it, you know, I
Mhm.
forgot it, you know, but I have it somewhere in one of my books, but and you know, I try to reach out to different you know, write, you know, books written, you know, spiritual stuff that,
Mhm.
you know, that's
Good.
helpful too, you
Yeah.
know, and it keeps me focused and stay on the trail, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Stay on the
Good.
journey,
Good.
right?
Good. Um, so Tim, do you still stay connected with some of your colleagues from that time in your life?
No, none of those guys have really connected with me. Like for example, I pick up my wife sometimes at work, and some of the security guys used to be on the job, and
Mhm.
hey, you know this guy? Hey, you know, oh, he was my lieutenant way back when. Yeah,
Mhm.
say hello to me. You know, how's he doing? You know, but that's about it. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
One, two guys. One guy was very good to me way in the beginning, helped me out. This guy, Mike Zella, he retired detective, and he was very helpful. Mike, very, very helpful. Like treated me like a brother.
That's nice.
Every time I reached out to him, I would see him at funerals, and um, you know, a union guy, and but just keep me updated because I reach out to him.
Yeah.
It's you know to have dialogue with someone, you gotta both get you know have to talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like one person can't do it. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Did you lose anyone personally?
uh, I guess I did. Yeah, yeah, there were some guys that I worked with died. In other units,
Yeah.
passed away. One gentleman was in the other team. They went into the other tower and
Mhm.
they died. And I lived, you know. So another gent became a fireman, and I
Mhm.
went to high school with him.
Mhm.
Well, a couple guys, I went to high school with them,
Yeah.
and I remember him. And I remember seeing him when he got onto the fire department. He was a cop in a unit that I had an arrest in, and he was such a good guy. It's like, oh right, man, I was so excited for him because I loved the fire department. Was a great job, man. You know, I tried to get on that job like several times, taking the test.
Yeah.
You know, and they used to feed me when I was on a foot post. You know, they used to throw cinder blocks off off at us while we were on a foot post
Oh
in the
my
South
goodness.
Bronx. It was really bad. Come on in here. They took care of me, you know, and
Oh.
so you know that's where I thought back then, you know, doing as much as I can
Yeah.
in that particular time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tim, how do you want to be remembered in this life? How do you feel like you've made your mark on the world?
I'm not done yet,
Good.
so you know I'm not thinking about
Good.
you know when I leave this earth.
Good.
I hopefully I have a long life ahead of
So,
me.
what are your motivations moving forward?
Um, just maybe doing something different. I'm not sure right now. Um, I'm
Trying
waiting
new
for my
things?
wife to retire,
Oh, good.
so she's not retiring.
Okay.
No, but someone very smart said the lady will retire when they're ready, and be quiet, right? So you know that sort of thing. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to be supportive as possible, you know,
Good.
and
Good
you know,
man.
so
Good.
yeah.
Um, what do you feel like have been like three of the biggest challenges in your life right now?
Um, three, three. Well, I have to, you know, well, in the beginning, uh, it was hard in the beginning because some in the office said, "Oh, he won't live till 5 years." Well, he's 22 years later, whatever,
Mm,
23 years later. So that was rough.
yeah.
Um, continue to try to be a father and being sick and being a husband. Um, I'm not gonna, lay on my back and just, blob away. I have to live my life. I
Yeah.
have to, protect myself and be as helpful and connective and honest as with my family as possible and with life. Other things are like I still try to keep in touch with, you're talking about colleagues before, the Coast Guard guys are
Mhm.
really, they've been very supportive. Um, that guy was very, the leader of our unit was very helpful, and he passed away. And
Mhm.
I still call his wife because he's like almost like a father-like figure. This,
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
Rob Perlo, and my parents have passed. Both parents, and it's hard to reach out to siblings that don't reach out. You
Mm.
know, so so yesterday was it was kind of like a get together between brother and brother, and we went out to breakfast, and it was nice getting together, and
Yeah.
but other things you said, like I still like you said before, like I know there's still stuff to do, so I guess that's the key thing about this whole thing is to, you have to continue to move on, but
Mhm.
it's there's things I run into, like I was telling you some examples.
Mhm.
It's never really forgotten, really.
Of course.
Um,
It's part of
I,
you.
I get afraid going into the city. I'm very intense, so I stay away from the city. I guess it's just natural.
Yeah.
Um, usually a little more on guard. I mean,
So
I
you.
guess I'm annoying to go into the city with. How about that? Protective, very overly protective, like a
Okay.
dog.
Okay.
That's the way our dog was, very protective.
Mm.
So I'm like that. So
Yeah. Well, I could understand why. I
yeah,
mean, listen,
yeah,
you went through a very traumatic event in the city. I can understand why you'd be so protective
yeah.
going back. But so do you go to that event that you went to yesterday, that walk run every
Mhm.
year, or was
Pretty
it
much
just
so to be supportive to the memorial,
okay?
and I usually, the whole thing is set up is you get a number, and you walk in or run
Mm.
memorial of someone that had passed away. That
Yeah.
and in my case, it was usually um, we walked as a group or ran. My nephew ran. We walked. My brother walked. A guy that I worked with in a unit was killed. He was shot in the line of duty.
Mm.
I wasn't working
Sorry.
with him that day, but I searched for the killers the next couple of days. But his name's Kevin, Kevin Gillespie, and so but I don't know if that
Yeah.
answers your the call. I still I try to be very helpful to neighbors that live around me, and
That's
I
good.
think so. I don't know, like I try to keep, try to make the house look nice,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know what else
Part of
is there.
building your home,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. But
Yeah.
our, we still, but, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so interesting that you say it seems to be difficult for you to go to the city, but you go every year to honor those people, and I think that's very special that you
Well,
kind
I
of
try to honor my
sure.
wife's two intentions. She likes to go to shows or go to the museum,
Yeah.
and I got to go with the flow, right?
Okay.
You tell me, hey, just go.
Okay. Good.
So the doctor says, just go, shut up and go. And I'm still a little protective. It's not,
It's understandable.
um, I don't go into the subway. It's just the way it is,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, It's hard, I guess, to answer that,
Yeah.
question, but
It's okay.
yeah.
Tim, has this interview captured everything that you wanted to talk about today?
I think so. You'll talk to me afterwards,
Okay.
right? Yeah. I mean, whatever needs to be cleared up, just let
Yeah.
me know.
Is there anything that you would like to add?
No, but just thanks for thank you all for being some helpful at all to anyone else.
This is
That's
very
good.
helpful. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear the follow-up story to your interview years ago and see how things have changed and moved forward for you. So, Tim, since these stories that we're documenting in these interviews will ultimately be archived in the Library of Congress and be made available to the public, is there anything that you might want someone 20, 50, 100 years from now to know about the disaster or the responders?
Yeah. I think even now, I think there's a lot of responders that are not me in particular because I'm taking action. I think they need to be taking action on our insides. Um, on a daily basis, I try to do that. I don't do it 100% all the time. I have to keep a checklist on myself and
So, what do you
uh,
mean by that, by taking action?
healthier living.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to escape to different dimensions. I'm not gonna get into particulars, but the stuff that I don't partake in because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live a better life. I want to be a better husband. Today I woke up. I woke up on my knees. I say, and I say my prayers. I say, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better participant in life? How can I be a better father? It's basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have to take action on it. You could pray for it. You have to do it.
Right.
But do it. That's what I was taught.
Yeah.
And like yesterday, like instead of having difficulties with my own sibling, just take action on it and go forward. And I said to my nephew, I said, if you need anything, you call me. But where does that go? It has to be action done. But hey, it's out there. Here's my hand. You either take it, just like that day. You take my hand, go with me. I can't do anything about it. I can't save everybody, but I know I can leave by saving myself. And you stay next to me. And but can't think like that all the time. There's a thing called trust.
Yes.
It's but and I try to do one day at a time.
Yes.
Like I said before. Sometimes it's one breath at a time.
That's right.
And holding your breath. Try holding your breath for 30 seconds under a fire truck being full of stuff. Not it comes back. And it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dig, and get yourself out of there. And that's where life is. You have to take action on it.
Yes.
And I learned before all this. We used to run the marathon, and that's where the city was. Sticking together and helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
There was many times, after 9/11, we were doing these long hours downtown, sleeping in the church, and they had this foot doctor. No, it was a podiatrist academy,
Mm-hmm.
and they would tape up my shoes because my feet were killing me. I had shoes that day, and running and climbing and I had this like really bad plantar fascia, and they would tape up my feet,
Mm-hmm.
like a boxer or something like that, and just ended up seeing doing the foot doctor. Thank God for insurance.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even and I still go to foot doctor, and sometimes just crying with the doctor is helpful because he knows what the deal is.
He knows the history.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But
Well, thank you so much, Tim.
Thanks.
You are a man of action. That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know about that, but
You've said it a number of times. Yeah. I want to thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your story with us.
thank you for your patience.
I've really enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you.
So this concludes our interview with Tim. I'm so happy that you're part of this project.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.